I just like hate that people are gonna compare Jamin to Micah, and it's like, well, they're just like not
No, they're not the
the
same
same.
player.
Like,
I
wow,
hate
Jamin doesn't
doing
have
that too
12
when it's like,
sacks. Oh my God! Like,
yeah. I hate when you're like, I hate people compare guys to guys that were drafted before. I feel like doing Jock would be like a good one. Be like, yeah, they might have
yes,
fucked up with Jock, but like,
absolutely. But we knew that. We knew it when
we
it happened.
did knew that. We knew that immediately. Welcome to our episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. Max Chadwick alongside Nick Merriam and Donny Clemons. Another huge scouting report for you guys. So we just did Kayvon Thibodeau. We did Drake London a while back too. Another guy who's probably going to go in the top 5 with Thibodeau is Kyle Hamilton, the Notre Dame safety. He opted out of the Fiesta Bowl, declared for the draft. Break down his strengths, going to break down his weaknesses, player comp for him, ranking, team fit, so much more. Before we start the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft. We're on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. And please check out the merch store below. And please, again, like and subscribe to the channel. All right, Kyle Hamilton, background. He's a junior, 6'4", 220 pounds. He is a massive safety. Former 4-star recruit, number 60 overall, number 5 safety in the class of 2019 coming out of Georgia. In 7 games this year, he had 3 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, and 2 tackles for loss. And in his career, he had 8 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, and 7.5 tackles for loss. So, Donnie, we'll start with you. When you watch Hamilton, what do you like the most?
Everything. Literally every possible thing. The length, the athleticism, the ability to play in coverage, the ability to play in the box, the ability to play cornerback and slot cornerback. I mean, this guy is the best safety prospect since Sean Taylor for a reason. When you watch this guy in the field, he's just everywhere. And just watch this guy on the field. He's just running all over the field. It's incredible when you watch this guy. There was a huge play he had against, I think it was Florida State. It was Florida State when he ran across the field 50 yards and then maybe more, maybe 60 yards, and then picked off whoever the Florida State quarterback is. I don't really follow the ACC that much.
The Florida State quarterback, I feel like we don't need to worry about too much as a draft podcast.
Yeah, that is a good point. But
I'm blanking too right now.
Yeah, Jameis Winston. We don't have to talk about him. But no, Kyle Hamilton is unbelievable. If we're talking just pure football traits, he might be the best player in this class. I think him and Hutchinson are super close. I go back and forth all the time on who the best player in this draft is. So the real question I have for you, Max, is what is there to not love about Kyle Hamilton?
Ooh.
Jordan Travis, by the way. I just looked it up. Jordan Travis was the quarterback. I didn't know that. I forgot.
Didn't Mackenzie Milton also play in that game?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
He did.
So weird.
He did.
Weird comeback game. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love Mackenzie Milton.
He may have also thrown a pick to Kyle Hamilton in that game. I don't know. A lot of QBs were doing that early in the season. But yeah, Kyle Hamilton, it's just everything. You know, the versatility is unbelievable. There's a reason that we kind of talked about Sean Taylor, that, you know, when you have a guy who is as big as Hamilton is, can move the way he can, and play basically anywhere on the field, like that is a matchup piece you have defensively that just many teams in the NFL can't use. And we'll talk about how valuable that is later, or I will at least later in this video. I'm sure these two will as well. But you know, I like to think about linebackers and safeties are they're kind of wild card positions in that they definitely have roles, but you kind of ask them to just find things to do in plays, find guys to cover, find space to cover up, find running backs to hit, find ways to get to the quarterback. This is the difference being linebackers are going to play the run more, safeties are going to play in coverage more. And Hamilton is kind of built, like, I wouldn't be shocked if you see him play a good amount of box snaps. He's, you know, just a taller Landon Collins in terms of his build. Landon Collins is now playing linebacker for Washington effectively, even though don't tell him I said that, but he is. Likes to think he's a safety. But Kyle Hamilton, you know, has that ability to run, the size, of physicality. But really, that's the second most important facet of his game, in that he has that size and can still run with tight ends and receivers downfield. They talked about being able to line up at corner. It's just, there isn't a thing that you could ask him to do, and I think it's going to be the same immediately when he gets in the NFL that he won't be able to do. The traits match up with the skills, and he's, you know, just a smart player, instinctive, and it's all come together. It's effectively everything you could ask for from a safety prospect.
Yeah, his start to the season. I mean, he slowed down with that injury, but I made some Kyle Hamilton Heisman bets. I made some Kyle Hamilton #1 overall pick bets because he was unbelievable at the start of the season. You guys mentioned the freakish size and athleticism. There are actually only 2 safeties in the entire NFL right now on active rosters who have played at least a snap this year who are 6'4" or taller. Actually, they're both on the Cowboys too. J-Ron Curse, Izzy McQuama, who actually was a corner at South Carolina. But you can't tell. Like, you really couldn't tell he's that big by the way he moves. He's such a fluid athlete for his size, freakish sideline to sideline speed. Donnie mentioned that pick against Florida State. I mean, that showed, I think, everything you need to know about Kyle Hamilton. Like, he went from literally one side of the field to the other and made a diving interception. He attacks downhill so quickly. He's outstanding when covering in the box or in the slot. So he can be a tight end or a big slot receiver, a racer at the next level. And he always seems to find a way to be around the football. I think he's got natural ball instincts as well. Really, like you guys mentioned, there's not a lot to dislike about Kyle Hamilton. But Nick, what do you, if you had to pick anything, what do you not like about Kyle Hamilton's tape?
It's very nitpicky, but when I think about Sean Taylor, and I'm going to compare a lot in this video, the guy was 6'2", 215, and he was rocked up. Like, he was a big dude. You could see he was muscular. He was moving well. We have Kyle Hamilton's been listed at 6'4", 220 for a while now. I believe the 6'4" part, he's obviously very tall. He's got the length to, play corner. I don't necessarily know for certain if he's actually 220 pounds. He's a little bit skinny, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was actually like 210, 205. In that case, he might have to add a little bit of weight because I do think, I don't think he couldn't play at that weight, but I do think at the NFL level, if you're playing kind of skinny, you're going to be open to getting injured. So I expect that will be something that will happen anyways. I think he'll put on weight. That's just, this whole draft process is all about that type of thing. So not a major concern, but right now, if you were to enter the league, I think his frame is a bit of a concern. That's about it, though, for me.
I don't really know if this is a weakness, but I'm convinced that PFF just doesn't really like him, I don't think. Because when you look at his player grades over his 3 years at Notre Dame, he was never graded as a top 50 safety in college football, which kind of blew my mind when I looked at it. But I mean, other than that, I don't really have any weaknesses. If I need to nitpick something out, I guess he could be a better run defender. Or like Nick said, he is a little bit undersized. But most prospects gained about 10 pounds going into the draft. At least most offensive linemen do, and a good bit of defensive backs do as well. So it's nothing to be that concerned about. Yeah, I don't really have any big weaknesses.
Donnie taking shots at my employer right now, PFF. All right. Listen,
PFF, I love you. Don't worry. Thank you for the elite package because I use it every day.
Yes, they are the best. We'll hopefully get some guys on in the pre-draft process too, Mike and Austin. I actually don't know if you want him lining up at deep free safety at the next level. I don't think he's been nearly as good as he is in the box or in slot coverage. He always seems like he's maybe a tick late reacting when deep. I think he's more of a guy you want closer to the line of scrimmage. Donnie, you mentioned this too. He improved, I think, a lot this year, but he's never really been a very good run defender. He consistently takes wrong angles, was a very, very good tackler this year, but the 2 years before were not very good at all. Kind of a hit or miss player in the run game where he's moving so fast, so hard downhill that he's going to straight up whiff on a lot of plays in the run game. But when he makes the hit, he makes the hit, and it looks really, really good. And we have to mention this because the last play that we saw him play in college was a knee injury. Now, it was apparently a 6-week injury, so it does not sound serious at all. And he said the report came out that he probably would have played in the playoff if Notre Dame made it. But still something to keep an eye on, too, in the pre-draft process with that knee injury. So, all right, Donnie, let's finish off bottom line time now. Where does he rank for you on your big board? You have a player comp for him, any team fits for Kyle Hamilton?
Team fits is any NFL team. Even if you're good at safety, you can easily just put him in slot corner, I feel like, and that'd be a good fit. I think you can even play him at linebacker if he gains a few pounds. Comps, for me, I'd hate to use the comp as Oh, jeez. I don't like using elite NFL players that are the best in their position at comps. That's why I didn't like using Myles Garrett. But I'm going to go and say he's Derwin James because he can do literally anything on the football field that he wants. Put him at corner, he'll be fine. Put him in the box, he'll be fine. I actually disagree, Max. I think he's a lot better at free safety than you were giving him credit for. I think he is better in the box, though. Don't get me wrong. I think he's better in the box, but I think he could be very, very good at free safety. He's currently number 2 overall on my board, just behind Aiden Hutchinson. He could be number 1 by the end of the season. I've been in love with this guy for a long time. Back in July and August, when PJ said he was the number 1 overall player on his big board at the time, PJ, I agreed with you, dude. I thought Kyle Hamilton was the best player in the draft during the preseason process, and I don't want to say he's consistently been number 1 for me throughout the whole season, but he is easily worth the top 3 pick. And does he go top 3? I don't know because he's a safety. But if I'm a team, I would take him number 1 if Hutchinson didn't exist.
Yeah, I have number 3 overall. We talked about this in the last video. He kind of dipped on my board for a little bit because of that injury, but I've decided he's too good. I can't imagine this guy being a worse prospect in many people's eyes than Derek Stingley, although he probably does end up falling the draft because he's a safety. We've talked about this in previous videos. I think it's a tremendously undervalued position. Max's colleague Austin Gale seems to disagree with that, as he has called the safety position one of the less valuable positions in the league. I don't know. We've seen back and forth studies on that from PFF. I know we're referencing them a lot in this video. I apologize for that, but it's an interesting position in that there are things that are very consistent about it and some things that are not. And if you have a good safety, it helps your overall secondary play, which is a very valuable thing. But also there are safeties that are better against the run that can be valuable. It's weird position. I for one think it's more valuable than we give it credit for, especially the NFL, who just has not taken safeties in the first round the past couple of years. So we'll see how that goes. But if he falls to like 8, I don't think any of us would be surprised. My comp is going to be the same as I think when we did this earlier this year, which is Minkah Fitzpatrick, which I know elite NFL player. I don't like making these type of comps either, but I just think in terms of the way he plays style, it's similar. I don't think you're going to be putting him as a single high free safety a whole lot. Minkah doesn't do a ton of that, but I think maybe Minkah might be better at it. They both have the ability to line up kind of one-on-one with anybody in terms of coverage. They'll play in the box. They'll fly sideline to sideline and kind of play anywhere on the field. And I think it's generally what you're looking at in terms of Kyle Hamilton playing in the NFL. He will fit into any defense, team fit, any team. Any team can take this guy and find a way to fit him into their defense. I won't buy anyone saying, oh, we have this safety who plays this. But Kyle Hamilton's not a guy that you think, oh, we need this type of safety, so we can't. He will fit into any safety spot you need. I don't care if you want to play him at linebacker. He will fit into your defense. Find a spot for this guy. He's too valuable, too good of a player to say that he doesn't fit into your defense.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I agree with you, Nick, that the safety position is the most undervalued position in football. Like you need to be taking safeties a lot higher and paying them a lot more than NFL teams are right now. You see, like Trayvon Merrick has been very good. He's a second-round pick. Javon Holland has been very good. He's a second-round pick. Like those guys should have gone in the first round, and they did it. And Kyle Hamilton will go in the first round just because he is the best safety prospect since Sean Taylor back in 2004. And yes, I can see him fall a little bit, but I'm pretty confident that he'll be the first safety to go in the top 5 since Eric Berry in 2010. So this guy is like, this is more, we like to throw the term around generational a lot last year, especially because of how good last year was. This is a generational probably safety where you're a guy is as good as since like 17 years ago.
Might be the one.
Like this might be the one. Like really, this might be the one generational player. Like I thought Stingley could be. That he's so many question marks. Hamilton really, I don't think you could have many question marks about him. Tools, you guys mentioned him before. Production so special. I know Donnie, you disagree with me. I do think he's just a little bit better towards the line of scrimmage rather than away from it. Really good in man or zone coverage. Player comp, this is so tough, man. Because we mentioned it, he's 6'4". There are only 2 safeties in the league that are 6'4". Neither of them were that good or possess the athletic capabilities that he does.
Well.
Yeah, he has played a little bit well. I just comparing him to Kyle Hamilton. I love the Minkah comp. I love Derwin James. I had taller Derwin James, one of my comps too. I'm going to go with the one I had earlier, which was imagine if Isaiah Simmons was actually a safety. Like that is Kyle Hamilton. Like the freakish length at 6'4", Isaiah Simmons is 6'4", 230, Hamilton 6'4", 220, and the athleticism. Like I remember Isaiah Simmons' combine was just like, holy crap, man. Never really been seen before. He was a tweener coming out of Clemson, though, whereas Kyle Hamilton, like, there's no questions. Like, this guy's a safety. Like, we could argue Isaiah Simmons with the linebacker safety. Kyle Hamilton is a safety, but that unbelievable athleticism, excellent in coverage. Isaiah Simmons, though, also struggled in the run game at Clemson and taking on blocks, which I think Kyle Hamilton has difficulty doing as well. I do think he's very similar to Isaiah Simmons in the athleticism and the size and how good they are in coverage, but he's a safety. And Isaiah Simmons, I think, had way more questions about what he was in the NFL. And he's, had some hiccups in the NFL for Donnie's Cardinals so far, just because I don't think the Cardinals really know what he is right now.
I don't know what he is, to be honest.
I think what Kyle Hamilton and maybe Isaiah Simmons too, what you got to do is what Donnie said is just a defensive weapon like Derwin James is, and just move him around and play him everywhere. Team fit. I'm just going to name the teams that are in the top 5 right now: Texans, Lions, Jaguars, Giants, Jets. Any of them get Kyle Hamilton. I know the Jets, maybe Marcus May could be heading out the door soon. We'll see. Ranking, I kind of regretted when I look back at the Kayvon video. I said Kayvon number 2 overall. So I'm going to put Kyle Hamilton number 3 overall. But I want to say that I'm probably leaning towards Kyle Hamilton number 2 overall right now, behind Aiden Hutchinson. Definitely number 1 safety. So yeah, don't be surprised if Kyle Hamilton during the pre-draft process moves up to number 2 overall over Kayvon Thibodeaux. I'll just say that much. Maybe I got caught up in the Kayvon Thibodeaux hype a little bit. But please like and subscribe to the channel. So we got Kyle Hamilton. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Boom or Bust Draft. We're on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. And please check out the merch store. So for Donny Clemons, Nick Merriam, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.